So we are talking JACKALS, an anticipated low-budget independent horror movie directed by Kevin Grutert. Now, this can be described as a mix between The Strangers and You're Next. So what's the story about? Well, let me tell you. Essentially, it's about a family that have lost their son to this weird cult, but they want to get him back, so they hire a kind of deprogrammer played by Stephen Dorff to essentially kidnap their son, bring him back to this kind of like remote farmhouse so they can have a bit of an intervention, try and talk some sense to him to get him out of this kind of brainwashed kind of mindset he's got himself stuck in and get him out of this cult. However, the cult members aren't going to take this lying down and lay siege to this farmhouse, and everyone inside has the threat of death. So let's talk about JACKALS. This was one of the more anticipated movies, I feel, coming out of the kind of the independent horror circuit. And I've got to say, on the positive notes, first of all, it's a very well-made film. It's a slick movie. It absolutely looks great. I mean, there's some fantastic cinematography here and some iconic imagery. It's a well-paced film. This movie, I feel, you never gets really boring, and there's lots of kind of like tense moments that kind of ramp up throughout the film, obviously leading to the somewhat violent climax as you'd probably expect here. But the performances are all quite good. It's a pretty decent cast here, including Deborah Unger, Stephen Dorff. Although I feel Deborah Unger gets top billing, but she has the least to do in this movie, which is a little bit bizarre. And the actual violence is ramped up, and the gore effects, although not explicit, are pretty horrifying as we go through the movie. But what doesn't work for me? Well, if you're a fan of originality, then see ya. Because you've seen this film a bunch of times before, and this really offers nothing new to the genre. I've also got to say, this movie is kind of style over substance, and in 2017 I tend to find myself questioning why we have a bunch of kind of bad guys just standing around motionless in the garden, just trying to look cool, menacing. But yeah, it's great for a still shot, but you're just standing there all night, and that's what you're doing, is it? And we can all knock on unison on the kind of the side of the house. Just kind of things that just seem a little bit trite, I've got to say. The movie offers no real surprises here. You've seen this done a whole bunch of times. There's nothing new to the genre whatsoever. And I've got to be honest with you, it's somewhat forgettable. Plus, you really don't know much about the backstory of this film. I mean, who are this cult? What do they want? What's their end game? I mean, there's no characters in the actual cult. We don't really see any kind of thing from their perspective or anything like that. So we know nothing about them or what they've done to this kind of kid to make him so crazy. So that's kind of, you have this kind of disconnect because of that. Overall, I would say it's a very unoriginal film, but it's a well-made unoriginal film. So if you like siege movies and you kind of like that sort of style of You're Next, The Strangers, even though you've kind of seen it all before, you might still like this one. So therefore, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me comments, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.